Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's football show here on STV. The main talking points on tonight's programme. SPFL Chief Executive Neil Doncaster is tipping audience figures and attendances to increase this season. Dundee have rejected a bid from Birmingham City for their striker Greg Stewart, and Nir Beaton faces a race against time to be fit for Celtic's match against Astana in the Champions League qualifier in midweek. That's just a few of the topics we were discussing. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin, as ever, and it's a Monday, so it must be Mark Guidi who's here with us in the studio to look ahead to the start of the SPFL season, which is getting ever closer, and of course the midweek European ties as well. And of course, Ruffy, new season, you know, everybody gets their new photographs, they get their new team strips, and we are looking dangerous in these. I mean, that's fantastic.
It is a bit outrageous. I mean, it looks fantastic. I just hope that the badge doesn't take up the whole of Joe Miller when he's in.
I mean, really, we should actually just do the national anthem before we start on it every night. This is magnificent. Anyway, and good to see that the medium fits Mark as well. So let's crack on. Okay, football to look forward to. Neil Doncaster certainly putting a positive spin on it. Attendances will be up, of course. Rangers back in the top flight will help that one. And the focus will be back on Scottish football, Mark Guidi. Over 100 countries will be looking in the game, maybe not providing the money that I think we would all like to see in our game, but still the attention will be there.
Yeah, a real sense of anticipation, Peter, ahead of the big kick-off this weekend. Rangers Hamilton, Hearts Celtic, so some really big games, and it's great that it's back, and you can understand it's been a tough shift for Neil Doncaster and the SPFL board for the past 3 or 4 years, with Rangers not being in the top flight, sponsorship, etc. But now that they're in there, everybody's excited about it, and rightly so.
Yeah, and you know, some clubs will look at it and say, okay, the doomsday scenario, it didn't materialise, Ruffy. Clubs cut their cloth accordingly and managed to survive. Some wiped out their debt along the way, but there is no doubt that when Rangers come calling, and Celtic, to these grounds, suddenly you will get that extra bit of cash in through the turnstile.
Yeah, whether you like it or not, as a player, you know, they're the games you want. They're the games you look at the fixture list and when are Rangers and Celtic coming. And I would like to think that all the supporters are like that as well. There's nothing better than going to a stadium that's got a bit of atmosphere in it. I mean, the football might not be fantastic, but if you've got an atmosphere in there and two sets of supporters, a bit of banter going on, it certainly makes a game.
Yeah, and of course there will be a 2-week winter break as well. Maybe not as long as some really wanted, Mark.
Yeah, but it's still it's good for the players, Peter. It's good for supporters. Gives you the wallet a rest just after Christmas, for pitches, for referees, for so many things, just to give them a break. So yeah, ideally you'd be looking at between 3 and 4 weeks, but it's a start, and we're edging more and more towards an earlier start in the season, which is better. I think that the Betfred Cup has worked well. I've taken in a couple of games, Peter. I've enjoyed it, although one thing that I would agree with in terms of maybe tweaking it would be, I think it was Tommy Wright originally came up with the suggestion, because it's so early in the season, too many players haven't had enough game time yet, so increase it to 5 substitutes instead of 3 for the Betfred. But that apart, I think it's been good.
That's a good point. Paul Hartley also backed up that, saying that he would like to see more substitutes.
Yeah, because in the close season games, that's what you do. You try and give as many players game time as you can. But looking at some of the team, I mean, it depends on the kind of pool of players you've got. You know, you can if you're winning a game 2 or 3-0, you can take a chance of throwing on 1 or 2 extra. You know, but not, as Mark said, the way it is just now. But I mean, it's the way they've laid the rules out, you know, and unless you change them, there's nothing you can do about them.
Yeah, okay. The draw for the last 16 was made yesterday. Let's have a look at it then, just to see exactly what everybody's got to look forward to. There are 3 games there. Celtic Motherwell, St Johnstone against Hearts, and Ayr against Aberdeen, which will actually be played on the 10th of August. The rest will be played on the 9th. And the one screaming out there, Ruffy, Celtic against Motherwell.
Yeah, it's a good one. I'm not sure if Mark McGee would agree that to get Celtic so early, particularly away from home, but certainly again the players will be up for it, and you never know. Celtic still got their eye in European football, so that might just be the thing that he's looking at.
Yeah, I think at this point, this is when it really will kick in. And the other good thing about it, Mark, in this competition, we have, I think, the 27th of November, we've got a final to look forward to in this year.
Yeah, it's nice and condensed, you know, it's over quickly, we're into the last 16. Next midweek, the tie for me, Peter, that jumps out, Ayr United, Aberdeen, Somerset Park. I think that'll be an absolute cracker. Next midweek, but the Celtic Motherwell, to the St Johnstone against Hearts. So there's a few cracking games, and it will give the teams that progress a real lift towards, you know, getting to try and get to a final at Hampden Park.
Yeah, I wonder, Ruffy, if, and I'm going to ask you who you're going to tip to win it, but I wonder if any of the clubs can cause a little bit of a shock, because certainly on the evidence of some of the results over the weekend, you know, you can see the Premiership side starting to gather a bit of pace, a bit of momentum, because they're getting more and more games under their belt.
No, I think Mark's touched on one, Ayr United, who started particularly well with Ian McCall. I don't think Aberdeen would fancy going down there, you know. Tight part, there'll be a good atmosphere there, and I think that'll be a really tight game. Aberdeen have been known to go out of cups, you know, against teams like that, you know, so they'll have to be on their guard.
Okay, give me your tip then. I've tipped Rangers last week on the show. I'm sticking with them on this one.
I don't know why I just said what I said, because I've picked Aberdeen.
Aberdeen, regardless of the fact you've built up Ian McCall's side. Mark?
It's tough, Peter. It's tough. They're so, transfer window's still a long way to go.
I mean, the good thing about it, if you do come up with a team, we won't mention it again.
Who am I going to go for? I hate always going for Celtic or Rangers. I'll go for St Johnstone.
St Johnstone?
Yeah, I'll go for St Johnstone to win the League Cup.
Yep, okay.
Can't get any more neutral than that.
That's absolutely good, that's good. So, looks as if you can go for a meal the next couple of weeks then.
That's this week's prediction.
Yeah, absolutely. Just invoking the Mark Hateley rule until he'd seen everybody that had signed for the club. St Johnstone for Mark Guidi. I'll write that down, Ruffy. Okay, you're right on what you were talking about as far as players coming in and out, because that is the big problem. Dundee, I think, have got a real problem on their hands, because Hemmings is gone. Suddenly you've got Birmingham City just testing the water with a £300,000 bid.
They'll come back in, and there's other clubs waiting in the wings as well to come in for Greg Stewart. Prolific goal scorer, lovely left foot. We've watched him in the past 2 seasons score some terrific goals. A lot of sympathy for Paul Hartley for the D, because I've just lost Kane Hemmings. In another way, it's a big compliment to them. You pick up Kane Hemmings for nothing. You pick up Greg Stewart for nothing. So one thing about Paul Hartley, he knows how to pluck a player from the lower divisions. The downside is they come in, they do well, and inevitably a club like Dundee can't afford to turn down 300, 400 grand from players, for players. So, you know, that's where Paul Hartley will need to again try and go and find one or two before the end of this window.
Yeah, just on that point, Ruffy, I mean, I look at the teams that are looking for specific players. Rangers were linked with Greg Stewart. I think he'd be a great signing for them, but would they splash out 300, 400,000? Do they have that kind of a disposable income with the fact that they're looking for another centre half?
Yeah, well, I would have thought, it's better going for somebody yeah, and I'm sure Rangers have watched him on numerous occasions last year. I thought Rangers were going to get in quite early, before it maybe got to that price. But certainly on the money side, who knows whether Rangers want to spend that kind of money.
I mean, he's got the goal scoring stats to back it up, Mark, and he's also got creativity in his game. I mean,
plenty of assists as well.
Yeah.
Peter, I think if Rangers were going to go from, they would have gone from by now, and interesting enough, to pay that kind of money for him. If you look at Rangers' summer signings, as much as they've got 3 or 4 cracking players, I think they've not really paid transfer fees. So I think there's been a policy where the money's going to go in wages. That's why they've got Joey Barton and they've got Clint Hill, and they've got Dodo. So they've spent big on wages. So to go and then try and get Greg Stewart for £400,000 and a big 4-year contract on top of that, perhaps Rangers are just not quite at that stage yet, which is fine, because you don't want to go back down the route that they were, 10, 15 years ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah, that forced the club into ruin. So, no, I think they're going about it the right way, and I have a feeling that Greg Stewart will end up in the English Championship, and I'd imagine he'll go for around about £400,000.
Yeah. And of course, we're going to talk about Rangers after the break, but I didn't think they were going to get... What's the longest you've ever been kept in, Ruffy, after a game because your team didn't perform the way the manager wanted?
I'm sure it would be a long time. You know, some managers, you know, after a game, you know, do like to express their feelings, and probably be wee Bertie, probably an hour or something like that, you know, and then back on Sunday afternoon, then night time, and then back Monday again.
Okay, we'll only keep him in for as long as this break. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Mark Guidi is our Monday night guest as ever, looking ahead to the new SPFL season across all the divisions. Of course, pre-season friendlies is where you get to just hone your fitness, Ruffy, but sometimes performances, if they don't match up, the manager gets a little tetchy. And Mark Warburton, not happy with the 3-1 defeat to Burnley at the weekend, held them in for an hour afterwards. I think the way that Rangers would like to play football wasn't exactly what they delivered at the weekend. Burnley pressed them high.
No, I think they get a wee bit of an eye-opener. You know, when you come up against a quality side, you know, that you have to up your game. But in all fairness, you know, Rangers have had a good pre-season. You know, they went about their business all right. The teams they've been playing haven't been that quality. So sometimes it just opens your eyes a wee bit to your frailties that you didn't think were there, but there certainly was frailties at the weekend, and the manager quite rightly has let the players know, but they're going to be playing a lot harder games than what they've been playing.
Yeah, I think that will be the real test of it. It's not anybody looking and questioning you know, what they achieved last season, but when you get up another level, Mark Warburton, David Weir will have told him you know, non-stop about the pace, the fact that teams will press you, Mark. They'll be under a different kind of pressure, and the expectation at Ibrox among the fans now has gone up as well.
Well, you know, when you sign players the calibre of Joey Barton and Clint Hill and Nico Crankya, then, you know, that suggests to me that you're going to try and win the league. You know, Matt Warburton and David Weir are not going to be happy with third or fourth. Now, I'm not saying that they should win the league or they expect, but they're going and saying, well, you know what, here we are, we've been given this. That's what you do, and the 50,000 Rangers supporters will be kicking off on Saturday against Hamilton, expecting this to be the first game of a league championship success. Now, it might be a tall order, but they'll probably feel at the moment with Celtic only having brought in one or two players that the gap's there. They beat them in the Scottish Cup semi-final, so they'll get into this full of confidence. But I think Rangers as well, a few of the players, they'll be in for a wee bit of a shock when you go to away grounds, Peter, Inverness, Ross County, Dens Park, you know, all those kind of places, Tynecastle. It's going to be tough, but it'll be interesting. But I think that Burnley was a big step up for them. But I think they'll be fine against Hamilton on Saturday.
Yeah, I think this is the real test of Mark Warburton's credentials. I think I've been impressed with the way he's handled things over the last year, Ruffy, and the football is easy on the eye. But this, again, is the real test of his credentials. I mean, you know, I think there are 1,001 stories, you know, linking him with down south. I think people down south will only start to look at any kind of real skill he has as a manager if he can do as Mark says and achieve the ambitions in the first year here.
Yeah, I think Mark's touched on the biggest thing of all. It's the expectations for the supporters. I mean, he can sit with Davy Weir and say, right, if we get the top three, maybe win a cup, that'll be good. Supporters want more than that. Supporters want to beat Celtic 4 times. They want to win something. They want to win a cup, and that'll be, you know, if things don't go well, you know, if maybe 2 or 3 defeats in a row, how the supporters act and how the players act as well, because we've saw a lot of old firm players when things aren't going particularly well, they go into their wee shell, and they might be the best players in the world, but when there's 50,000-60,000 people screaming down you, sometimes you just take a back seat, and that'll be another thing that a lot of the players will have to deal with as well. I'm not saying it will happen, but if it did happen, that's something they would have to deal with.
Yep, and the favourites for the Premiership undoubtedly will be Celtic. They've got worries of their own for this week, but of course Scott Brown, never one to shirk a line for the back pages, said that Aberdeen are Celtic's biggest challengers for this season.
Well, time will tell. You know, they've been Celtic's biggest challengers for the past couple of seasons, and credit to Derek McInnes and his squad. for that. But, you know, again, you go back to the point, the calibre of the players that Rangers have brought in, the size of their budget, which I'm guessing off the top of my head, Peter, is probably about 3 times what Aberdeen's budget is. It should be a shootout. And because of Celtic's budget, it should be Celtic first, Rangers second, and then Aberdeen third. But, you know, you never know, Aberdeen could pull it off. Their players have been over the course and distance, but I think Rangers have built a squad that suggests to me that they feel they will challenge for the title.
Yeah, and if we're talking about transitional periods, Mark, you know, I'm not fooled by any of the spin this season on our game, because we are where we are this week, and we're about to get a rude awakening. Maribor against Aberdeen, and of course Celtic against Astana. We could be faced with just one side, possibly none, in European competition.
It's a shame, Peter. You know, particularly Hearts losing to the Maltese team. Hibs putting up a good fight against Brøndby. But you're right. Come Thursday night, potentially have no teams left in Europe by the first week in August. Best case scenario, Celtic get a good result. They build on the first leg 1-1 draw in front of 50,000-60,000 fans Wednesday night, get the result. And Aberdeen go over to Maribor and nick a goal. So I'm hopeful that both will get through, but again, it goes back to the point, what can we do, Scottish football as a whole, collectively, what can we do to improve our club's chances of European football? Because it does come too early for us. So can we adjust the calendar even more? I think if you speak to Neil Doncaster, he says it's virtually an impossibility to do it that way, but whatever we can do, just a wee tweak here and there to help them, and it's got to be looked at.
Yeah, that wee tweak for me, Ruffy, is better players.
Well, I think that's part of it. You know, I think the clubs would be honest enough to say, hold their hands up and say that Aberdeen don't have the quality of player they had when they were successful in Europe, and I'm sure all the other teams would say the same. They don't have the same players that can play European style of football, and that's where we are. But you've just got to hope that they can get there, because from the neutral point of view of it, we need clubs to be in over Christmas at least.
Yeah, okay, with that in mind, let's look at Celtic against Astana. They lost to Barcelona at the weekend, and apart from anything else, Efe Ambrose scored an own goal, and I think he was booed by some sections of the Celtic support. That doesn't help a sports person. I was watching a documentary the other night there about Zola Budd and Mary Decker, and when Zola Budd, obviously Decker clashed and she fell in the Olympic Games, the entire crowd booed her, Zola Budd, and she just dropped off. I mean, I don't know if Efe Ambrose can drop off any more from the radar as far as the Celtic fans are concerned.
Yeah, I feel for Efe Ambrose, because you know, Peter, from dealing with him at press conferences and stuff, he's a really nice guy and he's a first class professional. He's just, you know, bottom line is he's just not good enough to play for Celtic, and it's something that Brendan Rodgers knows, it's something that Ronnie Dyler knew, and it's something that most Celtic supporters know as well. However, he's there, and if he is given a jersey for whatever circumstance, then you've got to back him, particularly in a European game on Wednesday night. What the Celtic players and Brendan Rodgers don't need is if there's a mistake early doors or a Astana go one up, that all of a sudden, you know, the fans are turning on the players. They need to get behind them for 90 minutes, and if that includes Efe Ambrose and the team, then so be it. However, longer term, Efe Ambrose has you know, got to go, I would say, and I'm sure that they'll be looking at something to do something with him before the end of the window.
Yeah, and Nir Bitton is facing what the papers call a race against time. Is he the linchpin or crucial to the fact that Celtic have to get past Astana? I didn't think they were all that great. Aside, Celtic have got more than enough without Nir Bitton for me to get over this.
Yeah, you would like to think so, but you would have to remember, I thought Bitton, when he came on last week, changed the game a bit. He has got that European style about him, keeping possession. I don't think Celtic were keeping a hold of the ball long enough, but when he came on, he takes that touch, a wee touch more, and he brings people into the game. You know, he's not a match winner for me, but certainly he can bring other people into the game.
Just before we briefly talk about Aberdeen, Mark, how many do you think Celtic are short? Brendan Rodgers may be looking at 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I thought 4 or 5.
Yeah, certainly minimum 3, maximum 5, Peter. But what they've got to do, and I'm working hard behind the scenes to get it done, I think, is increase the quality and decrease the quantity. So I would say that you might still see another 5 or 6 go, and 3 or 4 come in.
Okay, Ruffy, Maribor against Aberdeen. There's an away goal for the Slovenians. How's this one going to pan out?
Yeah, well, again, I'm hoping it stays the same, 1 each, you know, and whatever happens, they get a wee rub of the green in penalties and get through.
I hope Aberdeen go through. You can maybe see Maribor nicking it, but if Derek McInnes' side can take the lead, then I'll take them to go through.
Yeah, okay. Good to chat to you. First day, Monday, as ever. We'll be chatting to you throughout the season, Mark, and just hope we've got enough budget to keep him going in polo shirts for this programme. It's going to be a tall order.
Take this home and
No,
back.
no, you hand it in.
No, the last thing we need is you walking through the village that you come from thinking you're great with a new polo shirt. That's just not happening. No, put it there and we'll give it to Ruffy for later. That'll fit him too. Thanks for watching the programme. We're back tomorrow at 7.